everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today, we're back with Grammy-winning songwriter Randy Thomas. Thanks for joining us, Randy.
Thank you, Sophia.
Well, today we are very excited because we'd like to discuss how does a songwriter become an author, like you did. So, Randy, tell us, how did what you learned from your songwriting translate into your book?
I would say, firstly, I've always felt a little bit reassured when I have read the story of other songwriters who would say, I played in a band, and then I was in a band and we needed songs, and I discovered I had to become a songwriter. And so most of us songwriters will say, we didn't, just start out as a child writing songs. First, you start playing an instrument. And in my case, I thought that, well, if I wrote a song, they would be amateur songs, and I was right. But I was in a band with a singer who was writing material. And here's what happened. We did the first record with Sweet Comfort Band. And what's really common is you need 10 or 12 songs. And he put his best 10 or 12 songs. I wrote one or two. But on the next record, he had the writer's block that we were talking about. He's going, well, now I've tapped out all my best songs. And so that vacuum caused me to realize I have to step up, and I wrote a bunch of songs. And then you notice on our second record, I suddenly became much more prolific. And part of that was the vacuum. We need a song. And that caused him then, as that record came out, then the singer thought, oh no, I'm losing my, influence as a songwriter. And that caused him to step up. And so one of the great motivators, believe it or not, is most of us songwriters did not start by saying, I'm going to write a song and it's going to change the world. Most of us started where we were in a band and you have an opportunity to make a record and somebody says, boy, we need a couple of more songs. And it is a really intimidating thing to sit down in a room with somebody and say, we better come up with a song by tonight because we need something tomorrow. But that's how it starts.
Interesting. And what were some of the big differences that you found between writing a song and writing a book in general?
I don't have much experience writing books, but I approached a book like a songwriter. And that is that I think probably a fallacy that a lot of amateur songwriters think is they sit down and they write a song and it just comes out perfectly. And I've always said, no, the secret is rewriting. And you can rewrite your melody, you can rewrite your lyrics. And so thinking it more of as a piece of clay where you keep working it, and keep working it, rather than it comes out beautiful the first day. Right. And so when, and I was fortunate to get a hold of a great publisher with my book, Song Story, where I sent something in and my publisher said, I want you to go through it 10 times and rewrite everything that could be chiseled on and made better. And I sent it back to him and I said, okay, it may have taken me months. I said, I've rewritten it 10 times. And he said, congratulations, Randy, you're the first one that's ever listened to me as a publisher.
That's great.
But I knew the value of rewriting.
Right. From the songwriting. And how did you maintain when you were writing a longer form, like a book, the motivation and discipline to do that? Was that hard for you since you're, used to writing a couple thousand words and being the song?
A song is such a mini story that it's very intimidating to write a book. And I am so intimidated by writing a fictional story that I have been working on one for over a dozen years. It's called The Rain Travelers. It's not out yet, but that shows you that I'm as far as an author of books, I'm not a good model. I'm the I do it so slowly that, I could only write a couple of books in my lifetime. But I started with small stories, and then I showed them to people, and they said, "These are great stories, but I don't understand how they connected." And
Mm.
I started connecting my short stories, and I came up with this novel about time travel. And then I had to say, well, there needs to be characters connected between all these stories, and then what's my bigger story that connects all of this? So imagine having your small chapters written, but then you have to rewrite what's the whole purpose of the book about
Mm.
time travel. And so my writing is very backwards in that sense. But I would say as a songwriter, I have gone down the road that I think most songwriters have, and that is that you have everything from the song that feels like it fell out of you in 2 minutes to the song that you sweated over for months, and you never know which one. I promise you this, people don't believe me. As you write your hit song, you don't know it's your hit song. Those people who are sitting at home going, "Oh, I've got the greatest song. It's a giant hit." No, it isn't. You,
Right.
uh, Usually, professional songwriters who are turning out song after song after song will say the same thing that I will say. They will say, I get a phone call one day and they say, "Your song's a hit." You're going, and you've written another 15 songs since that one's written. So you're always surprised going, "Oh, really? That one was a hit? Well, I'll keep working on these." That's the way it works.
I like that. Well, Randy, thank you so much. That was great insight on how you as a songwriter became an author.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you everyone for tuning into today's interview with Grammy-winning songwriter Randy Thomas. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.